Yo, I got questions to pose, peeps. Let's start with one that has been bugging me for the last 10 minutes since I came up with this idea for this tiny terror. Give me an example of a horror franchise that has fizzled out. Now, I'm not gonna set rules here. It's not gonna be like, oh, they haven't made a movie in the last so and so years, nothing like that. But a horror franchise that really, whether it fell into the abyss of like direct to DVD sequel hell and it has never reclaimed the prestige it once had, or it's just something that they haven't made a sequel to in a long time, a franchise that kind of fizzled out. What's a franchise that you guys? We've seen a lot of franchises lately kind of get the Halloween franchise is kind of back in full swing now. Hellraiser's on its way back. Nice. With this new Hulu Hellraiser movie, which I'm very excited for. There's Candyman recently got a new installment. We've seen some of these great franchises come back. What are some franchises that you'd like to see make a triumphant return, whether it's on the big screen or as more of a prestige streaming title, a la Hellraiser? Who wants to go first?
I will defer to the lady.
All right. Hello. So movie franchises that I feel like have fizzled out. I would have to go with what I refer to as like my WB thrillers, because those I love so much. So, like my first one would be Urban Legend, like the Urban Legend movies.
Yeah,
we haven't had an Urban Legend movie since like that Bloody Mary thing in like 06.
Would we get 3 of them?
There were 3 total.
Yeah.
One was like the second one was like a standard like slasher, masked slasher movie again, and then the third one was that Bloody Mary thing. Yeah.
So like I really enjoyed those. Those kind of freaked me out. Like certain ones, like the guy in the back seat, that kind of
the actual
stuff.
Urban Legends themselves were kind of spooky.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Okay, so they're making a new Urban Legend. Let's just say, right? They're making let's just pretend. Would you want this to be something that's its own original movie that deals with a killer and urban legends again? So no ties to the first movie or anything, or would you want this to be some sort of like a Lego sequel where like it is tied to the events of the first movie? Like, what would you prefer for yourself?
So I think that would so either one would be kind of cool, just kind of like starting fresh. Introducing some new ones, maybe kind of redoing some of like the classics, but maybe doing it in like a cool new spin.
So kind of a remake, but not like a strict remake where it's like beat for beat.
But I do kind of like the idea though too, where it's tied to the old ones, like it could be with weren't we talking about it with Scream, where there maybe it was like a script that they were playing around with that they didn't go with, where like, okay, I'm just trying to think how I can like say this. So like where it is tied to it, where it's like there's a killer that's trying to
reenact the killings. Are you talking about the one? Are you talking about the Scream script where it was like a tribute script? I can't remember. Was it the Williamson one? You remember that one where it was like a?
There's a Williamson script for Scream 3 where the original treatment for Scream 3 was the idea, and this might be the one you're talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea was that like it wound up the twist was that like there were a large group of characters in the film that wound up being killers. Even characters that you thought had been killed, it was like staged, and like it wound up being like a cult that worships Billy and Stu's, like trying to like recreate Billy and Stu's thing.
I think that might be it. I remember you telling me about that, and
there would be a part where like ghost faces would come out and they'd all unmask, and you'd be like, "Oh shit!" It's
so
half the cast.
It would be kind of something like that, where it's like they idolize like the urban legends or whatnot, and they're just trying to and I can't recall. Was there like one killer in Urban Legends?
Yeah, Rebecca Gayheart is the killer.
So then like maybe they're like idolizing her and they're just trying to like, pay tribute to,
that
her,
hey,
that kind
I
of
like
thing.
this. Can we get Jared Leto back? Because he survived the first movie.
You could probably.
He would do it, right?
Yeah, he would do some sort of Lego sequel thing.
But he'd be like, I need to be the killer.
Yeah.
I'm down with that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
So yeah, like that, or like even like it's been a while since we've had a Final Destination movie, hasn't
It
there?
has. I think they are making one.
Are they?
But
Okay.
you know what? I don't know because I think that was supposed to be a direct to HBO Max thing, and those movies have all been
getting canceled?
in the
Yeah.
past 2 weeks, so we might not be getting one.
Yeah.
But like
I'd be down
those
for another Final Destination as well.
Yeah, those always freaked me out, and like I've been seeing memes lately online where it's like, you know, who else has been scarred by, you know, like and won't drive on the highway?
log truck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it always makes me nervous.
Oh my! Like every time I see that, I think of it. It has scarred me for life, and you know, even like big trucks and you know anything like that. Like I have to get away from them as quickly as I can.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So yeah, like something like that.
I like that.
Like
Yeah.
those like early 2000s, you know, type. I don't know.
I'd be down for either one of
Yeah.
those. I think there's untapped potential for some of those movies of that era that could have been franchises that didn't quite get there. I would be down. I'm just throwing this. This was not one of the ideas I had initially going into this, but like another Faculty movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Make a new Faculty movie. I bet you could get one or two of those actors back to play like the adult roles this time.
Ooh, they could be like the teachers now.
Yeah.
Exactly, like
that
Elijah
would be-
Wood. I could see Elijah Wood coming back.
Yeah, he's a
Hartnett might come back. Jordana Brewster would probably be down.
Yeah.
So that you could do some cool stuff with that fact.
Yeah.
I like that too. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like where your head's at. Tim, what do you got? Any franchises that you want to see? Nikki, I'm sorry. Was that?
No, I think that's good. I think I could like
We
you
can
know
roll back around
think
a few.
about.
If you
some
think of another
more,
one, just-
but like those were the two that kind of popped in my head.
Yeah,
so.
please. If you think of another one, just kind of. Yeah. Yep. Tim.
I actually wasn't being chivalrous. I threw it to Nikki because I was trying to Google how many sequels Pumpkinhead had to see if it qualified
Dude,
as a
that's
franchise.
another- yes.
There are 4. So I did.
Two of them though. Two of them were
So it
like
went.
Sci-Fi Channel original.
I was
things.
gonna say Pumpkinhead. It goes Pumpkinhead, and then Pumpkinhead 2 was terrible.
Blood Wings,
Blood
which
Wings.
was direct to video and was terrible.
And then there was Ashes to Ashes and Blood Feud, which I have not seen either one of those.
Film back to back for Sci-Fi Channel. They are like trash.
So I would like to see a new Pumpkinhead movie.
That's good stuff.
And I think you could do this pretty well with kind of like a straight to streaming. I don't think this, I mean, obviously this doesn't have to be theatrical, but I think you can make a good solid Pumpkinhead movie to throw on like Paramount Plus or Hulu or one of these
Yeah.
hundreds of streaming services. So Pumpkinhead.
At least get Lance back though in some sort of cameo appearance, right?
do like a voiceover.
I
or
want
something.
Henriksen to be. Dude, have him narrate.
Yeah,
Oh, have him tell the legend of Pumpkinhead at the beginning.
Who did
His-
you say did the voice?
Lance Henriksen.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the guys in the original Pumpkinhead
Okay,
movie.
in my head, I heard you say Lance Bass, and I was like, "What?"
Lance Bass could be part of it. I'm not. I'm a Lance
I was
Bass
only
hater.
half
So.
listening, and that's where my mind went.
There were a couple more that I thought would be really cool. A couple of them I think like Toxic Avenger is that popped in my head. But the other one too is I know we just got one a few years back, but is Phantasm. I would like to see a bigger budget Phantasm
Hell
movie
yeah.
than what we
Yeah.
got, because what we got I liked in its own fan.
There's a
filming.
charm.
There's a charm
yeah.
to it, but I would like to see a new Phantasm movie and maybe Critters.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, Curse kind of came back, right?
Oh, it had that
Show
that
thing.
like webisode show
Yeah.
thing. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. Okay, I
But
forgot all
still,
about that.
you could bring it up.
I would like a movie. Like
You want
these
Ghoulies
are,
back.
Like this is stuff like I'm thinking like straight to streaming. Nikki, I'm totally with Nikki on the Final Destination. I love the Final Destination movies. I think that we should keep making them every year, like they do with Halloween and Saw movies. And then of course I wanted to stay away from the big ones, but like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. It's time for those.
Yeah,
but we've
yeah.
talked about that. Yeah,
especially Friday. I mean, that's
Right.
That's my bread and butter. So, in terms of franchises that fizzle out, I mean, I would love to see another Leprechaun movie with Warwick,
yes.
with Warwick Davis.
you should watch that last one though. It was by the dude that did The Void.
I heard it's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, but
it's much better than the Hornswoggle one.
Oh god. But I would like to see Warwick Davis back. I think he'd be game to do a new Leprechaun movie, bring back the franchise. Not that it's a franchise that
He's in Willow, right? He's coming back for Willow.
yes, he is.
Okay.
Which I'm very excited about. The Collector / Collect Collection.
Let's go.
Ooh,
Big fan of those movies.
Yes.
The ending of that second movie, like I was like, let's go, give me whatever this third movie is going to be, and then it just kind of faded out, and
We never got
haven't-
that debate. Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
I think there were plans. It was going to be called The Collected, but I don't know. You know, but I would like to see that franchise come back.
Yes.
But I want it to be a sequel to. I want to finish that story because there's actually like a through story, which is very cool, and it's rare for those kinds of movies to have that character that carries through. So that'd be sweet. Here's one: The Lost Boys. Can I get a new Lost Boys movie that's not a shitty direct-to-video sequel, please?
I think a Gen Z Lost Boys movie would rock.
It would rule.
Yeah, it would be so good.
Because like
Gen Z would eat up a Lost Boys movie.
They would love it. Because the beauty of and you could do this as like a Lego sequel if you really wanted to, and still make it like focused on the Gen Z thing.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, don't bring Corey Feldman back. I think that. But like if Jason Patrick was down to come back, Jason Patrick and Jamie Gertz, and like it was like their kid,
yeah,
and like the kid was like a Gen Z, like dealing with like social media. Like, can you imagine the fun stuff you could do with the youth of today?
So even so, like I don't know where. Well, I'm currently watching the show Skins.
Okay,
and they're kind of like in this. Not like a totally dirty part of like England. I think it's like Bristol that they're in.
Okay.
But like there are kids that are like they're in college, which is like high school, which is just really hard for me to wrap my head around every time they call it college, but they're like 16 and 17. But like they're really into like partying and all that. Like it would be cool to kind of have like Lost Boys.
Yeah.
As like almost like in that setting where they're like kids that are like kind of like trouble, and they have these like massive parties and raves at night, and like
sweet,
and like have it kind of be like this grungy.
I'm 100% down with that. With
teenagers, and like that, and like.
Well, and I think that's smart, Nikki, because I think the original Lost Boys, there's a little bit of counterculture stuff going on with that movie. Because like if you look at the vampire characters in that movie. They're very actually all of them except for maybe Corey Haim's character are very countercult, like very like they were the kids that would be walking around at night, and you'd like in the 80s, and you'd be like turn a corner. Like you could do that with like make at least the vampire crew a little bit edgy, and maybe like make the olds a little nervous, like
and like they're like really hardcore into like sex and drugs, and they're like
Lost Boys.
They have this scene that would be. I mean, pretty conducive to like creating a movie around that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I love it.
I
love it.
Edward Herman's in that, right?
Hell yeah.
Who would you cast in the Edward Herman role this time around?
Well, I mean, okay, so like obviously you can never replace Edward Herman, but like if there was another like master vampire, like an older actor that played like the master, man, that's tough. You got to have somebody who's got comedic chops, who knows the movie they're in. You can't have somebody who's playing it overly straight. You know who I would have if you could get him for it? Neeson.
Okay.
Neeson would crush it as like the nice guy who like just like the dad down the street who's like, has his 9-to-5 job and blah blah blah, and then like it turns out that he's like an old ancient vampire. Like Neeson would crush it.
Now, here's the big question. Would you replace Tim Cappello with somebody, or would you just bring Tim
Cappello back? No, 100%. That's the one prerequisite I have.
Yeah.
Whether it's essentially a remake for Gen Z, whether it's a Lego sequel with some Gen Z characters, whether it's whatever, the one thing you have to do is you have to have a moment where Capello's at least playing in the background, shirtless with the sax. You have to have it. You have to.
I think his appeal crosses generations. I think everybody.
Of course. And I can't just have like the song playing on a radio somewhere. I need Cappello.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't need to be like a featured scene. I don't need him like in my face. If they're gonna do it, I'm okay with it.
Can you imagine if he's still playing the same character? Like if it's a sequel, like a sequel?
What if he's the only Lego sequel character that comes back? And now
he's still having the same parties because they're never aging.
It turned out he was a vampire the whole time.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so rad. Capello's still jacked, so
yeah, you do.
Yeah, so I would be a Lost Boys revitalization would be fantastic, and I can't believe there have been attempts throughout the years.
Yeah.
Some recently. And I loved the idea for the show that they'd pitched. That was fantastic. Where every season took place in a different decade.
Yeah.
And the only characters that would carry through season to season or whoever was a vampire by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. So like those are the only characters that would follow through and the other ones would drop off. That's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
But, alas, it was not meant to be. Maybe HBO Max will pick it up.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Probably not. But anyway, yeah, that's what I got for series I want to kind of come back. And then Friday the 13th. Please.
Did you get... Okay, so what was the other question you posed
My
to
other
us?
question was...
Movies that never got
Movies
sequels.
that never got a sequel. Never got a sequel. that you would love to see a
Nicki
sequel
had a good
to?
one with The Faculty.
Yeah, The Faculty is one that would be good. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. What else do you got, Nicki? What?
Oh, I've got a few.
I'd love to hear it. Now, mind you, there are a lot. I want to just preface this by saying, don't be mad at us if we pick a movie that does have some shitty sequel that no one's ever heard of.
Or that, or I don't.
We will let each other know.
Yeah.
We want a
Nicely.
sequel with like care put into it.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, Nicki.
So I think my top one would have to be Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
I need
Nicki.
I need more Sam in my
Nicki.
life.
That's like the perfect.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be
Because like even if
wonderful.
Trick or Treat 2 wasn't as good as the first one, would anybody be complaining really? Like it's an anthology. Like there's bound to be a story or two
There
that's
will
gonna be
be-
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, so that's that's
Great
my
choice.
Thank you.
Great choice.
My second one would have to be, and I don't think that there's a sequel, is Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh,
There is not. I thought there
there
maybe,
was
like,
one kicking around.
There was one kicking
Yeah.
around, and I thought did they make a comic book, like a graphic novel?
There's a
thing?
graphic novel.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. I believe there is.
Yeah, I loved that movie so much. My mind just kind of goes like towards those. Like I love horror comedy. My other one, which is very not very well known, is called Bad Milo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it'd be great.
I guess I don't
Ken
think
Marino?
it's very well known, but yeah, Bad Milo.
It is kind of a cult movie for sure.
I love that movie. I need some more butt demon in my life. He was just the freaking cutest.
He was a cute little guy.
Oh my gosh. And now I don't want to take out like too many from you guys, because then I did look at this website and they had some pretty cool ideas. I think like of other ones like Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I wonder what you'd do with that. So if
Yeah,
it was
that-
Kevin, I think you'd do a prequel.
Oh,
I would watch a prequel movie of Cabin in the Woods about like a previous like season,
yeah.
but you have to bring back Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Like,
anything with
Yeah.
with Bradley Whitford, I'm in.
yeah, I mean, obviously.
What was the other one that was? Let's see. Oh, this one had like Bone Tomahawk. I don't know if that would count, but like I thought I was like, oh, we really enjoyed that movie.
If you could do a spiritual sequel to Bone Tomahawk,
Yeah.
another like hyper violent period piece, that's like kind of an
Like
an elevated reality, or like a you know, like that would be cool. I'd be down with that. I don't know if I would want a direct sequel, but yeah, I'm down with that.
And then this one I think would be kind of cool. Is like, and I don't know how it would be done or anything like that, but like they had the Autopsy of Jane Doe on there, and I loved that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do something cool with that. You could leave that. Yeah, that's doable. That's doable.
But yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that.
No, those are great.
I'll keep looking.
Trick or Treat, that one's a mind blower.
Yeah.
And Tucker and Dale, that seems like another obvious.
Yeah, that one I think they have tried. They've just never
Yeah.
been able to do it. Like they've never been able to get it off the ground, which is a
If
bummer.
you did a Tucker and Dale sequel, I'd want it to be different. I'd want Tucker and Dale to be fighting like monsters or
Yeah.
something. Like make it totally different from the first one. You know,
I can see them like, like
hunting a Sasquatch or something.
yeah, exactly, like Bigfoot or
It'd be sweet. It'd be
something
awesome.
like that.
Tim, what do you got, man?
Okay, this is the one.
Sequels.
This is the one that we still have not gotten a sequel to. It bums me out all the time. It is the one movie I want a sequel to, and that's the Rise of Leslie Vernon. Beyond the
Oh
Mask.
shit! Yeah,
Yes,
they've
Behind the
never-
Mask. Sorry, not.
That's crazy
Yes.
that they never made a sequel to that.
They've talked about doing it for a while, and I think that is a perfect movie to do a sequel, and you could do kind of like a deconstruction of.
I have never seen that movie.
Have you never seen it?
No.
Yeah, I think you would.
I think it's
enjoy
on Tubi.
it. That seems like a Tubi one.
We'll watch it.
Yeah, as far as I know, they have not made a sequel. So
No, they have not.
So that is like the one that I have always wanted to see a sequel to, because I think you could have a lot of fun with that. Other than that, though, Nicki had some good ones. Bubba Hotep is one that I've
Yeah.
always heard kind of kicked around. Wasn't it Bubba Nosferatu
Yes.
that they had talked about doing for a while?
There's a book, I think.
I would like that.
There's a
I've
novel.
never seen
I
that
think.
one either.
Bubba Hotep.
Yeah.
Bubba Hotep's
it's
kind of a fun, kind of like a fun comedy. The other Coscarelli movie that never got a sequel John dies at the end, and I know
It was
there's a book
supposed to.
sequel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that one's good.
There is a book sequel for that one.
I think there's a Bubba Hotep book sequel as well. I'm pretty sure there's a
Is
like a
that what
novel.
Bubba Nosferatu came out as?
I think it's. I don't remember. I'll have to look into it. But
Okay.
there is some sort of sequel to Bubba Hotep in written form. I just don't know
Okay.
what it is.
And the one Carpenter movie that's right over your shoulder that never got a sequel is Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
I would
that was
almost
one of
like
mine.
it.
That was
I
one of
would
mine.
like it better now as with an old Jack Burton.
Dude.
Oh, there is that comic book series that follows
Old Man Jack.
Old Man Jack
Oh
that
my
rocks.
God. So like when The Rock was talking about remaking, because it's his favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
The Rock's favorite movie.
Oh, nice.
Dwayne. And he owns the rights to do he has the rights to do a sequel. Like he can do it.
Okay.
And the initial thing was like, oh, he's going to play Jack Burton. And I'm like, I don't want a remake. Like, but like apparently the plan has evolved, whether or not it's going to happen or I don't know. But the plan has evolved from that to where Dwayne's hopes would that it would be him and an older Kurt Russell and Wang back as well.
I would like that.
It would be just throwing the
That would
Rock
be a
in the
ton of
mix.
fun, honestly.
Dude, I would lose my shit.
Yeah.
I would lose my shit.
That is that is kind of that would be like Rock's wheelhouse if he ever got a
He would make a fun
like
movie with that.
He would fit well in that.
And
Yes.
I think you could convince Carpenter to come back and do the score.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, great choice.
What about you? No, you're on the
Man,
spot.
I got a few. Dead Alive. Let's get a Dead Alive 2, directed by Peter Jackson. Get back to your roots, Pete.
We've always wanted Peter Jackson to go back to his roots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Raimi's been able to do it a couple times, and it's always refreshing, I think, for him and for us, for him to be able to do that. I would say he went back to his roots a little bit with Doctor Strange, even.
Mm-hmm.
But I want old Pete to be able to do the same thing, and I think what better way than to just make the most ridiculous, go harder than you did in Dead Alive. Just go for it, Pete. Why not? Plus, people will be like, "What? Why is Peter?" Because a lot of people probably don't realize where Peter Jackson came from. Even today, I think they think of him as the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings guy, and not where he came from. And I think people would be like surprised and shocked that he was making this horrific schlocky just mess of a zombie movie. I would love it. Love it. Lucio Fulci's The Beyond needs a sequel because that movie's crazy.
Yeah.
And makes very little sense, like a lot of movies from that era, from that country. But the end is so sweet that like I kind of want to see what happens next. Like I want to see like another story in that world of the Beyond.
What? I don't know if I've never heard of
Beyond. Yeah, it's cool stuff. We'll have to watch that too. Add it to the list.
Yeah.
Start putting them down in
The
your
nice thing
notebook.
about a sequel to The Beyond is it doesn't have to make any sense.
You can do anything you want with it.
Yeah.
I would just want the vibe to feel that just like weird dream of a movie where like
Yeah.
you're like, what are we watching right now? Like, is this it becomes a zombie movie part of the way through, and then it's like this, like, there's like this like hallucination stuff. It's a bizarre movie, and I don't know that anybody could properly make a sequel to it because of what it is. But then like I kind of like the Suspiria remake, so.
Yeah.
I think somebody could make a new Beyond and do it justice and do its own thing. So, Big Trouble in Little China was on my list for sure, but I'm going to take another Carpenter one since you took that.
Okay.
I want a new Prince of Darkness.
You want a new Prince of Darkness, or you want a continuation?
I want a continuation.
Well, I
of
guess
Prince
you
of
could do
Darkness.
that pretty easily.
I want a continuation of Prince of Darkness. I want somebody else. I want another I want a person or a group of people to find that jar canister thing or find the mirror that she goes through at the end and like reopen the gateway and get crazy with it. Do it on a bigger scale. Yeah, I'd love a Prince of Darkness sequel for sure. I wanted to mention I did leave a couple ones that I wanted to mention for
The
franchise revitalizations. I'm just going to throw them out here real quick. Gremlins, please.
We're getting the Mogwai, but that's an animated show, isn't it?
Yeah. I want a new Gremlins movie.
For sure.
Please. And I think there's a lot of like talented people that could take the helm of that. Edgar Wright, please, for Gremlins. I think it'd be a sweet fit.
Yeah.
I don't know why I want him for that. Taika would be really good for a Gremlins movie too.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
Can you imagine the stuff he'd do with the Gremlins? So sweet. And then I want Return of the Living Dead to come back.
Yeah.
It had that weird. It was another like Sci-Fi Channel sequel hell thing for Rave to the Grave.
Rave to the Grave. Yes.
Yeah, and Necropolis. But I think you could make it's another example of like I think you could have a ton of fun with the youth of today in a comedic zombie movie.
For sure.
And I don't think that we've done enough with it. So yeah, I'd like that. Cool.
Excellent.
Sweet. Anybody else got anything? That they want to
I
mention?
did see some on a website, Event Horizon, and that is a movie that I saw for the first time in like high school, and it was one that I had to like turn off because I was so scared.
It freaked you out too.
Yeah.
Was it the part where he becomes like the devil and like there's all these quick cuts up like that part? Like when I was a kid, I was flipping through channels.
Wasn't it the child hallucinations of the little boy? Running
Yes,
around?
I think that's what it was. I don't even think that you really see, right? You don't. Or
if that movie hits you at the right age, though, it will scare the shit out of you.
It was more like just like the voices and like it wasn't really seeing anything, but it was just the creepiness of it and just like. I don't know, just them being like in space, like
they were just.
Like, what?
There's an isolation.
Where are you
to it.
supposed to run? Yeah, that really freaks me out. Like being stuck somewhere without anywhere to go.
Yes,
so,
the isolation of it's very scary.
Yes, and then having
Good
the
call.
creepy stuff. So that would be, I think, pretty cool.
There was just recently talk like last week. I think Paul Anderson
He's been doing the rounds for.
He's been doing the rounds because there's a new 4K like restoration of Event Horizon coming out on Blue and stuff. And a lot of people have been asking him like, why is this? Because he's talked for years about how like there's an insane amount of stuff that he had like in his initial cut of the movie that he wishes had made the cut. But they like it was so gnarly and like disturbing that like they couldn't possibly. And he's been championing, kind of quietly championing. Luckily, he hasn't been. Snyderversey. He's been pretty low key about it, but wanting to like restore that footage for a new cut of the movie, and people have been asking him like, "Is this going to happen?" He's like, "They got the footage. I hope they haven't destroyed it." But if you remember right, there's some nasty like when they watch the playback of what happened to the ship's crew before them.
Yes,
there's some very brief like crazy weird grotesque sexual stuff going on.
It's like a blood orgy happening.
It's like a blood orgy, yeah. Like they're like killing each other and eating each other and also boning each other. It's horrific. Like I'm sure a lot of that was left on the cutting room floor. Maybe for good reason.
Yeah.
I'd argue that maybe some of why Event Horizon works so well is because he shows you like the really hardcore stuff in very quick.
It's one of those movies that works as it is. I would still watch more of it.
I'd watch more of it.
Absolutely.
But
I'd watch a director's cut, but I think that this one, the actual cut we have is pretty great. So cool. That was fun, guys. Thank you for entertaining my random 10 minutes ago. Well, I guess now like a half hour ago questions that I made up. So.
It was a good one.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right.